This morning, the Chamber's live with a conversation with the Director of Economic Development for the City of Summerside, Mike Petsaska, and the Director of Community Services, JP DeRozier. And we're here this morning to talk about what's gone on with COVID and what the plans are for going forward and all those fun things. My name is Pam Montgomery, and I'm the president of the Summerside Chamber this year. I'm just going to turn it over to our panelists this morning and let them fill us in on what's been going on. I am going to turn it over to Mike first with a couple of questions that have been submitted by our membership. I think, Mike, you've had a copy of them.
Yeah, thanks, Pam. Yeah, I got a couple questions related to the COVID, the Eco Park, and Sunbank for sure. So if you want to just touch base quickly on the COVID task force. So the task force was established by Councillor McFeely and Durant, and I think the goal of it was just with all the information out there and the uncertainty with regards to what's happening. This was early COVID days that council felt it'd be good for all the groups in Summerside to get together, have a conversation, and see what we couldn't do to try and help business out and navigate through the times. It's been a great experience. A lot of great organizations in Summerside that are fully committed to try and help business. And one of the things that we were able to do as part of this initiative was launch the Summerside Mall. And again, just a way for our community to know what's happening in Summerside with respect to our business, who's open, and those sorts of things. The task force still continues to meet in the background, but now that we're kind of post-COVID, we're trying to obviously maintain our mandates as an organization, as each organization. So it's been a great experience on that front.
That's awesome. Can you tell everybody how to get to the Summerside Mall? It's
forwardsummerside.ca is the link, I believe it is, and people can click on that, and the Summerside Mall is right there, and you can check out all the information on our local business, who's open, what services they're offering, times, and that sort of stuff. So it's a great little tool for our community, that for those that can't get out or don't want to get out, that they can still engage with our business community.
Awesome. And if there's a business out there that would like to get engaged, they can contact Tara at the Chamber and get set up on the site. Also, Mike, what measures did the city take to help the business community beyond the Summerside Mall, which was a great initiative?
Yeah, so some of the things we did as a city is we looked at some opportunities in regards to deferral of obviously utility payments, tried to ease some of the restrictions in relation to some of the, I'll call it rules and regulations that we've had in place, trying to be obviously sympathetic to the challenges that we as a business community and individuals face, just to help transition and support some of the other initiatives that our federal and provincial governments were doing. So I think Summerside tried to do as best it could in terms of trying to support local business and complement other initiatives of some organizations. So
yeah, no, it's been good. Have you guys changed your operations at City Hall with COVID?
A little bit, absolutely. So we certainly have our social distancing rules in place. In terms of City Hall itself, it's business, I'll call it as usual, as best we can. So there are, limitations on terms of meeting gatherings, social distancing to pay your utility bills and that sort of stuff. But for the most part, we've tried to remain business continuity. During COVID, a lot of our staff were working from home, and now most of the staff are back. We've done a little bit of staggering in certain things, and we've tried to minimize kind of public interaction just in order to be safe, obviously. But now, for the most part, we're back up and running. So it's been a transition, and we're learning as we go, and much like everybody, I suspect, and we'll get through this together.
Awesome. So that's the majority of the COVID stuff. Do you have any other plans for mitigating some of the challenges that COVID's brought, Mike, in the future, or?
I think day to day for us on the COVID front is we're here for business. We're here for our residents. So if people have individual challenges, certainly reach out to us. I know on the immigration side, we've been dealing since, early March with a lot of immigrants, I'll call it, looking to invest in Summerside that have been stuck in the pipeline. And all I can suggest to the membership is give us a call, email us. If there's a way we can help, absolutely we will.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Can you give us an update on the Eco Business Park?
Yeah, it's been a fun project, and we're getting close to completion of all the infrastructure side of it. So in the last week or so, they've started curbing, starting to get ready for paving. The stormwater retention pond in a partnership with Ducks Unlimited is taking shape, and water's filling up. And so we're pretty excited about that project. It's been a lot of years in the making. We've been working really hard. We've come up with a new name. So it's a Summerside Business Commons, an eco-industrial park. Yep, so that's our new name and our new brand we'll be launching shortly. And we're working hard behind the scenes with a lot of inquiries, I'll call it. And our hope is to start construction of the first building sometime in September.
Terrific. We have some questions from our membership that I'll read to you.
Okay.
So the first one is, I understand that the plan is to construct move-in ready buildings at the Eco Commons. Can you explain the rationale supporting move-in ready versus having commercial occupants take up the construction responsibility?
That's a great question. And I guess the philosophy behind the approach that we're taking, and certainly that approach may change into the future, but part of it is in today's marketplace, certainly businesses are looking for quick turnaround times. So business is in the business of acting and doing business. They're not necessarily into being a landlord or a developer. And so what we're trying to do is provide quality space to attract tenants. And certainly some businesses that, a lot that we've talked to, they don't have the upfront capital to build, an industrial space, and there's not a lot of industrial space being built today. So what we're trying to do is set the stage in terms of here's what we're trying to do from an infrastructure standpoint. Here's what we're trying to do from a building standpoint. And then obviously work with clients, to collaborate on a new facility.
No, that sounds really good. I think there's a lot of businesses that will be eager to move into those ready facilities. Second part of that question is, will there be any covenants which protect the look and feel and functions of the Eco Commons?
Absolutely. So step back a little bit. An eco park is a little different philosophy than just a standard industrial park. So what we're trying to do is create an ecosystem for business with like-minded business operations to congregate inside of I'll call it a park itself. And so what we're certainly going to have be selective in terms of kind of tenants that we're looking to attract in there. Certainly looking at export-based companies in the manufacturing and bio industries. And so the ultimate goal is we want to control and maintain that philosophy and the ethos that we're trying to develop as part of the eco park and create the system to support business. So
terrific.
Yep.
There's a question that came up from one of our panelists, I think, or from one of our members. Is the commons public structures or private? I think they're asking about the infrastructure or the move-in ready businesses.
So as it stands right now, we as a municipality own it. So we've invested along with our partners in the, I'll call it the underground infrastructure and the above surface infrastructure. Our plan right now, much like the model we deployed with IO Solutions, is we're going to construct the facilities, again, in partnership with hopefully some of our other partners, and then we're going to do a lease back to tenants. We are exploring certainly opportunity to sell the land, but right now it's our approach that we're going to take is we would like to build the buildings initially just to make sure that we get the right mix of tenants in there.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. The next question on the Eco Park is, once the Sunbank Solar project is complete, what portion of our energy will the solar farm and wind farm together routinely produce?
Okay, a little different projects. Sunbank is the partnership we have with Samsung to build the solar battery project. So in essence, it's a $65 million project. It's going to be established on the 80-acre field where the well fields are. Once that's complete, we're targeting May 2022. Summerside will be able to achieve roughly 65% of renewable energy. So we're pretty excited about that. Obviously reduces our imports from New Brunswick substantially, and then kind of move forward on our innovation strategy with regards to energy.
Perfect. Do you see any more opportunities to capitalize on the partnership with Samsung?
Absolutely. So behind the scenes, we've been working hard with Samsung and our partners. We are working on what I'll call a phase 3 memorandum of understanding. Samsung sees the opportunity to collaborate with Summerside to further not only Samsung's agenda corporately, corporate-wide, but also they've been working hard with us to help us in terms of identify opportunities, vet opportunities, bring technical expertise. So they're a great company. And the other thing that we're working with them on as part of our kind of memorandum of understanding is how can we do technology transfers? How can we educate kind of the industry? How can we grow kind of different industries in Summerside and leverage the power of Samsung to help our local business grow? So we're pretty excited about that.
That is really exciting.
Yeah.
Switching from the eco part and renewable energy sources, question about the recent announcement by the city regarding the purchase of the cluster of downtown buildings on the corner of Summer and Water Street. I know it's been a project that's been in the works for a considerable amount of time. What's that going to look like going forward, Mike?
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that project. In all honesty, council took a bold step. The city over the last number of years, including downtown and the chamber, we spent a lot of time, effort, and money on doing reports, studies, strategies. And it was felt that given what's transpired on those properties over the last number of years, that somebody had to take a lead, and the city decided to do that. Certainly, we're focused on the infrastructure side of those properties in terms of trying to upgrade some of our municipal services. So ultimately, the goal down there is to remove those buildings, upgrade the necessary infrastructure that runs up underneath and around those buildings, and then exit out of the project. And so our ultimate goal is to then sell those properties. Ideally, obviously, when you look at the latest core block strategy, obviously everybody wants more people to live downtown. Everybody wants more mixed use commercial downtown. We want to kind of, I'll call it, modernize and advance space in the downtown so that we can attract those types of clients that we want downtown. And so it was a tough decision to make, but we felt, we invest strategically in a lot of organizations throughout the community, and this was just another way to support our downtown. And I think we're pretty proud of what's going to happen. It's been a process, and we'll continue to move forward and continue to work with people to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I think it's very exciting and really pleased to see it happen. I have a question here from Nikki Gallant regarding the construction downtown, or the new downtown acquisition project. She's wondering if there's been any consultation with the heritage community on the approach with the new downtown acquisition project. She furthers her question by saying, as someone whose choices to move home to PEI was influenced by the local preservation of historic architecture and character, I worry that the idea of destroying historic properties is not necessarily in our long-term interest. Development is good and important, but it's important to recognize that visitors and citizens are appreciative of our built heritage.
That's a great question and a great point, and we 100% agree. Certainly, we've had, some concerns raised. I'll put it to you that way in terms of what the plan is for those properties. It's certainly our intention to whatever we do moving forward will be in partnership and collaboration with our heritage and culture to make sure we're sympathetic with, kind of where downtown was and where it's going and how we can respect that. We're probably not going to make everybody happy. I'll put it to you that way. A couple of those buildings are pretty challenged and pose a health and safety issue. So we have to address that. But then moving forward, how do we make sure that we respect and honor kind of the heritage and what those properties / buildings meant to growing our community? So we're working hard trying to figure all that out. But certainly we have to address the immediate challenge of state of those buildings right now.
Yeah, and the infrastructure underneath them too.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. Thanks, Nikki, for that question. Question from downtown. Oh, just a member, sorry, not from downtown itself. Tara's correcting me on my slide. I should put my glasses on. This would make the reading way easier. It says, regarding downtown development, can you describe how the city envisions places like the new Portside Apartments and changes to the Summer Water Street corner could transform the area?
Another great question. When you look at what arsenals are doing downtown, I think kudos to them, because they've really kind of started kind of the refocus of downtown. So if you, again, back to the 2017 report of the downtown vision, bringing more people downtown is critical. The study identified, I think, 500 people they'd like to see living downtown. Yep. And what that does for you is obviously drives other opportunities, drives other business, drives other potential opportunities to further grow the downtown. So I think the partnership that happened between the nonprofit group Port Summerside and the Arsenals was a great example of how working together can then transform, hopefully, what we're trying to do here at what we call the core block project, which is move and transform that project forward as well. So I think Arsenal should be applauded for what they've been able to do and take the risk in building that. It's been an amazing project, and it will be. We look forward to them doing more. If he's listening, I hope he does plans to do another one or two downtown. That'd be great. But what we're trying to do, obviously, is kind of replicate what David's doing, but also, if you look at some of the pent-up demand in our immigration pipeline, we've got lots of people looking for space in Summerside, and we think this property could play a role in that.
I agree 100%. And, you know, I'm super pleased to see the downtown Summerside plan or the waterfront plan being used and looking at some of the recommendations, things.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think COVID also has kind of changed people's perception on the demand and need for more housing in Summerside too. So I think as we go forward, having those opportunities will be.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's what council's kind of decision points was. At some point, we got to make a decision to try and move the community forward. The downtown vision plan was a great plan, and there was many that came before that. And now I think it was time for them to act. And at the end of the day, our focus is on the infrastructure and trying to move and upgrade that infrastructure. How the private sector then participates in kind of what's left, I'll call it, in terms of a blank slate. That's what we're really excited about, for sure.
No, there's fantastic opportunities there. Thanks so much, Mike, for all your great comments and insights and
awesome.
Information. It's, you know, I think it's going to be great going forward. There's tons of opportunities for Summerside to grow and develop. And, you know, I think we're just bridging the surface of what can happen going forward. So thank you so much.
No worries.
And if you have any more questions, people can reach out to you or Neil at City Hall.
Yeah, mike@summerside.ca is my email address, and we welcome any questions, comments, concerns, or people looking for information. We're here to help.
Awesome, that's great. Just a little note I see in our chat from Steve Riemann. He said he just checked out Summerside Mall, and he thinks it looks fantastic. So awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
For that shout out. So we're gonna move from the Economic Development Department to the Department of Community Services and chat with JP for a little bit. Hey, JP.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Got a couple questions for you, but is there anything you'd like to say first about what's happened through COVID and how your department's responding to some of the challenges and concerns that you've faced?
Yeah, I think, you know, from the onset of COVID in mid-March, our business model as a department and as the operations team at Credit Union Place kind of turned upside down to a certain extent. Our goal has always been, and obviously hopefully will continue to be, to put as many people through our facilities in our building as possible every day for a plethora of activities or events or what have you, to now being in a position where we're trying to limit the number of people in our facilities to try and keep the proper social distancing mandates in place. So it's been a challenge, there's no question. One thing I'm pleased about is the support we've received from the public health office and from the residents and the users of our facilities being so respectful of the rules and guidelines that have been put in place since mid-March. We're moving towards what I guess everyone seems to call the new normal, and trying to get people in, back into recreating and living healthy and active lifestyles, and hopefully soon being entertained with events as we look to the future. The uncertainty piece, I think, no different than local business and in our world in recreation and sport tourism, is the uncertainty piece is a challenge because we just don't know what lies ahead in the weeks and months to come. So planning is a bit of a challenge, but we're continuing to stay positive and look forward for sure.
That's great, JP. Since you've announced that you'd close on the 14th to prevent the spread, can you give us an update on the operations as far as the walking track, gym, bowling alley, as you guys are slowly reopening to the public?
Yeah, so on June 1st, we received approval of our operations plan from Public Health to reopen portions of our facilities, with the mindset that each facility was sort of segmented in its own little operation, allowing up to 15 people in our fitness facility, in our walking track, and in our bowling lanes. We had to, obviously put in all the proper measures for check-ins, for contact tracing, for bookings, that type of thing. So we basically created a model where the use of the facility is now by booking only, and up to max of 15 people in each of those areas at any given time. Our reception staff will greet you at the door. They escort you to the area that you're headed to, do the check-in process. We've got some pretty stringent cleaning protocols and disinfecting protocols pre and post use, and then we escort you outside after, and we wait for the next crew to come through. We were anticipating, to be honest, a sort of a huge surge when we first opened of people wanting to get back into our facilities. And that actually wasn't the case. We were surprised. For the first week or two, it was fairly quiet. And then all of a sudden, by mid-June, we were back into having basically all of our weekday slots for all of our facilities pretty well full. And that continues to grow. And we are now into a scenario where we're trying to work with public health to figure out different creative ways to get that number up from 15 to perhaps 40 or 50 in each area. Additionally, we've opened our convention center. We've sought approval from public health to offer, small meetings of up to 44 individuals with proper social distancing rules in place for those. And now we're actually in the process of just completing the ice insertion for the ice pad to offer hockey school in early August. So, I mean, things are looking up on that side of things, that we're slowly but surely seeing traffic increase. But I'll tell you, from a day-to-day basis, it's nowhere near what it used to be on a typical Friday morning here at Credit Union Place.
Yeah. You're a little lonely inside there?
Yeah, some days.
Oh, is there any word on when they may open pools again, JP, or is that just further down the road kind of?
Pools are actually permitted to open. We made the decision to proceed with our 4-month-long tile repair project.
Okay.
Our aquatics facility. So basically, the pool deck and our 3 change room facilities will be retiled over the course of this summer. You can probably hear the jackhammers in the background right now, jackhammering away. There's 2.4 million individual tiles being replaced over the course of 4 months. There's no ideal time to close our aquatics facility for a 4-month period. But with the restrictions in place, our pool would have operated in a fairly restricted manner anyhow all summer long. So this was really the only sort of reasonable time to do that work. So that's happening right now. We're on target to reopen the pool October 1st, which is just in time for what we hope will be our Masters Swim Club return, our Dolphin Swim Club return, and our offerings for swim lessons and that type of thing. So again, not ideal, but a good time to get this work done, and it'll be a fantastic improvement to the facility as we go forward.
Great, that is really good news. Next question that we have is: the city has a wide range of programs that many residents take part in. How have programs been affected?
In some cases, programs have actually been, canceled, and we're unable to offer them, whether it be squash or close contact sports of that nature. We just unfortunately, public health sees those as high risk activities, and we've been told not to offer them. And we certainly respect that. On the reverse of that, we've had some interesting opportunities now with our pool being closed and our staff, whether it be lifeguards and our management team looking, having spare time, we've moved them outdoors and to try and encourage a sort of a more broad look at our recreation offerings. So right now we have the Logier Park program. We see that as one of our key destination parks in the city. So we're offering daily programs, whether it's fitness classes in the morning for seniors or whether it's art and craft activities in the afternoons for kids and everything in between. And we've seen great uptake on that. And that park allows us to offer those services in a safe, socially distanced manner, but give people something to do after sort of a quiet stretch in March, April, and May. Additionally, we're doing a lot with Go PEI. So our Come Try events, we've done one Come Try event for paddleboard, an additional one for kayaking. We're doing Come Try events for mountain biking and fat bikes in the Rotary Park. And we're going to do a number of those over the summer. So we're trying to diversify and offer, programming that we, typically don't have the staff to do, and also get people outside and experiencing different activities that they may not have been able to do, in past summers. So it's working out well. We're seeing like I said, a really good uptake in those activities. And I think it's setting a benchmark for what we may do in future summers.
That's awesome and exciting. Get people outside moving around is
Exactly.
great. Also, another question, what's the status of the concert events that were to take place over the last few months? Jan Arden, Clint Black, Burton and Bachman, and probably others.
So, the concert business is one that's, a competitive one, and we're always chasing any event that we can bring to our market. We were very fortunate to have a good lineup of summer concerts and sporting events that were coming, sort of April, May, and onward right through until the fall. And Atlanticade and other outdoor events that we looked at. And obviously, one by one, those were either canceled or postponed.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly with the concert events, our partners at Live Nation and Eventco were great on in terms of offering rescheduled dates for 2021. So all those shows will or have been rescheduled. They've offered refunds to those folks who want to get their cash back now and redetermine the situation later next year. But the nice thing is we've been able to retain those shows, and with a hope that they will happen in 2021. One major sporting event that's been pushed off until 2021 as well is the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge, which is a gargantuan event for both Summerside and for Charlottetown to co-host together. It's one that brings $5 million of economic activity to the city, and one that we've been chasing for a number of years. So it's a shame to see us, have to push that off. But working with Hockey Canada, there was a lot of discussion about potentially hosting the event without fans, hosting the event, in different ways. And the reality is if, as cities, host these events, the goal is, one, obviously to have great hockey played in your community, but it's also to reap the reward of the visitation that you get from those. And that wasn't going to be possible this year. So we're glad Hockey Canada made the right decision and pushed that event off to 2021. So basically, to summarize the event world, is it's very uncertain at the moment when we're going to be able to have mass gatherings of 5,000 people in here for our arena, or for shows, I'm sorry. But the good thing is that we've continued to work with our partners to reschedule, not cancel events.
That's great. Yeah. So hopefully in the future, things will return to somewhat normal. Yeah. In fact, okay. Tara's saying skip number 4 because you just totally blended those two questions all together. Sports tourism question from one of our members. Is it reasonable, excuse me, I haven't finished all my coffee yet. Is it reasonable to assume that the city's sports events tourism strategy will be forced to undergo abrupt transformative revisions in order to successfully adapt to the new normals brought on by COVID-19? I think you addressed a great deal of that, JP. Do you see any hope for creative workarounds or brand new approaches to the SETS strategy?
I wish I had some really creative, commentary on this one, but the reality is that the goal of the SETS program is to drive new tourism visitation to Summerside through sport hosting and event hosting. And the reality is right now is that hosting piece is on hold until we get a hold of this, situation we're in. What I can say is that this quiet time to a certain degree, has allowed us to really put pen to paper and begin to bid on events long into the future. One thing we're always challenged with resource limitations is to be able to operate events all summer long at the same time that events are called for bid. And we get sometimes challenged with trying to put bids together while we're in the midst of operating large events. This summer, we have the time to really be strategic in the events we're chasing, put together even stronger business cases to go after different events, and work with our national sport governing bodies to secure those events for Summerside for the future. SETS has come off a fairly strong run. We were rated third nationally in communities 50,000 and under as a sport hosting destination, and we're really using that right now to leverage new events to come to Summerside. Our partnership with the city of Charlottetown on the U17s is a nice one because we're utilizing the PEI brand together to attract people to select Summerside and Charlottetown as host destinations. So to answer the question, no, there's no real, workarounds or brand new approaches, but what we are doing is using this time right now to look to the future to bid on events that we may not have had the time or resources to do in the future.
That's awesome.
That's
Thank you. I guess you've covered a great deal of the questions that were brought forward. Any thought on the meetings and conventions business? I'm assuming it's not far off from the sport and tourism.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing that we are looking at as a facility, and I think Meetings and Conventions PEI is doing the same, is we're trying to be creative in how we work in that space of small to medium-sized convention business going forward, how we can outfit our facilities to be more ready to host virtual meetings in smaller settings with the rest of the world, and how we can create that setting to do so in a more comfortable and relaxed environment, also doing them safely. I think, I strongly believe that when we come out of the other side of this COVID-19 situation, our meetings and conventions and the travel business in general will probably go back to normal, but that's just my guess. But there will be those that see the value from a financial standpoint of staying home and meeting virtually. So from a meeting and conventions perspective, we're trying to create spaces that offer that virtual experience, but in a more comfortable and relaxed environment. So we're looking at different creative ways of doing so, and maybe outfitting our conventions and our small meeting spaces with, more comfortable chairs and more, robust Wi-Fi services and things that will allow people to have those virtual meetings, but doing so like it feels like they're doing it in their living room. Because there's an awful lot of people who did an awful lot of Zoom meetings just like this one from home in the months of March and April, and probably enjoyed wearing, a dress shirt and their underwear and having a nice coffee at home. So,
I think you may have to ask that people wear pants when they come into the facility.
Well, the new normal.
The new normal. Yeah. Or, at least nice bottoms. One last question, and you touched on this a little bit when we were talking about the pool and the resurfacing and the renovations that you're doing with the pool. They're asking with ongoing capital renewals, which protect and preserve the asset, reminding everybody that, the Cup's not a new facility and things will need to be done as we move along. Can you describe the aspects of the Cup's infrastructure, which will soon require serious attention in the coming 3 to 5 years, and what's your priority? And they're asking if you can guesstimate costs. I don't know how good your crystal ball is, but.
Well, actually, in this particular area, I think it's important to note that, the Cup is, still a state-of-the-art facility in the region, but it is 12 to 13 years old. Yep. And why I say it still is a state-of-the-art facility is because our council and our senior management team have made a lot of very strategic investments over the years to continue to improve the facility, and have continued to allow me and my management team to have the resources we need to continue to keep the facility in tip-top shape. But like any, whether it's your deck at home or your car in the driveway, they do deteriorate, and there comes a time where you do have to spend money on the maintenance side of things. From a capital perspective, a year and a half ago, we completed a building audit that went through stem to stern the facilities and the grounds, everything from roof to foundation and everything in between, systems. And we built a fairly a fairly detailed capital lifecycle plan that will allow us to, be strategic in how we manage our capital needs in the building over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And an example of that is, in year, I'm guessing, as I don't have the document in front of me, but in year, 2029, we may need to replace the roof. Well, we don't want to be replacing the roof over the arena in the same year that we have to do a major foundation repair. So we may do the foundation repair the year prior and the roof the year following, so that we're not doubling up on that capital and pulling capital needs away from other areas like fire or economic development or what have you. So there will be expenses. We will probably average somewhere in the vicinity of $200,000 to $400,000 a year in capital needs for the building. Some years may be higher, some years may be lower, but at least we know going into budget year over year what we're going to need. I should state that while the pool project did happen this year, that really wasn't one that was related to ongoing wear and tear. That was a challenge from the outset of the opening of the building. I think the project was probably rushed to get the facility opened. The tile work it's been deteriorating since we opened. So we got 12 years out of it, and I'm kind of shocked we did. But we will be into larger repairs as we go forward, but the key will be to manage those expenses long term.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, JP. Do you have anything else that you guys would like to add before we wrap up today? I don't see a whole lot of additional questions coming through. We do have one about how people get in contact about the programs that you're running at Leger Park, JP.
Yeah, we do post them almost daily on our city Facebook page, but you can jump on the City of Summerside website and find it. It's under the community services portion. It's in a number of different places on the page, or you can reach out to me directly, jp@summerside.ca, and I can connect you with the staff who manage the program.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Mike, do you have anything you'd like to add before we sign off today?
Absolutely. Just a couple things. Come this fall, maybe late August, early September, we'll be launching a business directory update. So if your members start getting calls from somebody that they don't know, it's probably us. That's an important tool for us from a strategic planning perspective, from trying to grow the community perspective, but also a great marketing tool for business to use. It's viewed quite often. So that's coming up. Immigration, I talked a little bit about that earlier. Summerside is going to see a huge influx, we think, over the course of the next 18 months. We've got about a little over 275 immigrant investors that are coming that have chosen Summerside to invest to create a future. So we're pretty excited about that. So our office, we've been working with them hard over the last couple of months, but now they're starting to transition to actually landing here. So again, to your members, we look forward to working with anybody that can help us in terms of kind of that transition for these folks to come and invest in Summerside and grow their families in Summerside. Excited about that. And then in the next couple of months, we're hoping to announce a new, what I'll call an accelerator and smart landing program. So we've been working behind the scenes with a bunch of partners and collaborators, and we're looking to launch what we call an accelerator program that's going to help, we think, small business grow in Summerside. So we're putting together a team, including venture capitalists, some educators, and some business mentors to help grow. We already have one company in the pipeline that will hopefully be announced in the next couple of weeks. So we're pretty excited about that. Stay tuned for further updates on that. But end of the day, as I mentioned earlier in my closing remarks, mike@summerside.ca. We don't have all the answers, and that's why we like working together with folks. So reach out, give us a call if you got questions, concerns, opportunities. We're more than happy to work with folks. So thanks for this opportunity. It's been great.
Thank you. It's been fantastic hearing from you this morning, Mike, and seeing all the new opportunities and hearing about what's been going on and great things that are to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Even in light of all the COVID challenges and stuff, you guys have really pulled together and you're making a difference. So thank you.
Yeah.
JP, do you have anything you'd like to close with?
No, I'm good. I think, like I said in my kind of preamble, that it's been a challenging couple of months. We want to thank all of our members and our users for taking advantage of the services that we can offer, being so understanding of, the challenging new world we live in, and practicing the social distancing items while using our facilities. And we really hope to continue to broaden what we can offer as we kind of work through this situation together.
Awesome. Thank you, JP, for all your insights and and information this morning. The Chamber would like to thank the City of Summerside and you both directly for being great partners through all this. And thanks for your time this morning. And again, if you guys have any more questions or comments from our members or whoever, we'll forward them on. And, you know, have a great rest of the day, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You too.